you guys to take a second and just feel what's really going on. I want you to know that so much thought, so much vision has been crafted because we have to understand something here, and we have to be very responsible about something. When we are trying to create history, the word history can be utilized in many ways, because an idea or a vision could be history, just like that. And so there's a lot that goes into the credibility, the time, the factors, the cofactors. And with that being said, you can answer that. Tell them that you are here. Pick up the phone and tell them that you're here. I want you guys to know that it has been an incredible, incredible honor and privilege, and I want you to know how serious we take the fact that you are here today. And I want you to know that there is a single individual in this room that I've never met that has the incredible tenacity and ability to be persistent. There's a person in this room today that is probably one of the single-handed reasons why we're all here together. The glue, the visionary, I like to call him the bull. Because sometimes, lots of times, when you're starting off a project like this, or any project, you need that. And I want to say that I'm incredibly proud to work with our CEO, Mr. Bill Shaban. Bill, Mr. Shaban, Bill, he's always Bill. Bill, put a tie on, man, come on. Yeah, you know, I'll put a jacket on. We're working, we're busy. And so there's an incredible sense of realism. And without further ado, I'd like to have Bill come up and say a few words. And thank you all for being here. So, thank you.
Thank you all for coming. We've been traveling. We're going to be going now for almost 6 weeks. A trip every week, sometimes 2 trips every week. On your behalf, on the company's behalf. And Sam and I will be doing one plane Wednesday for Creative to hopefully have some new exciting announcements for our shareholders in the near future. Some other fields. It's funny because I'm a very private person, and for me to stand here and talk in front of 100+ people 2 months ago, I'd say never. It's not going to happen. Never find me in social media, never find a picture of me anywhere. I just put my head down and do my thing. I'm okay. But decision had to be up. With respect to our application, I kept it quiet. I kept it secret until City Council moved it out. They were so excited to have the project coming to Lakeshore, and they've been very gracious there. And City Council got in there, informing them. So we had to run with it. We had to get the press machine going and get awareness of our project. So now I'm everywhere. It's hard to do. But I'd like to introduce my team very quickly. I have Dr. Sam Alou, who can introduce himself. He is the VP of CEN Biotech. And he'll speak for himself. His genius and his intelligence and that way over the room. I have Jeff Thomas, brother, Vice President of Creative and Nutrition, great friend. I have Joe Byrne, who's our guy. I can't even sum it up. Joe's, we're all brothers now. We've become very
indeed a privilege to be here and have you here in the town of Lakeshore with us. This is home turf for us, for me certainly. I grew up just down the road on a farm. By way of background, we grew up, we thought as a child, we thought the earth was flat. We thought it ended where the farm field ended. The farm was our life. That's where we worked, that's where we played, that's where we socialized. We couldn't tell those apart. One of my early memories is I used to go out there to pick tomatoes from the time I could walk. I remember as a toddler picking them. When I started school, grade 1, I used to hurry off the bus, run out to the tomato field. My goal was, I was 5 years old, my goal was to pick 10 before dark. And there were lots of times when my mother, I would hear her calling me, it was getting dark, and maybe I had 7.5 baskets. And so I'd try to stay quiet and keep picking so I could get my 10. So we grew up working. The farm is what I know. The farm is what I love. I went on in life to, I farmed for many years. About 25 years ago, the warden of the county of Essex and Leon Roy, who's a supreme lawyer in Windsor, deceased now, they asked me if I would consider going to law school. And they made me very kind offers. They gave me a credit card and the key to their office and all the support I needed. I just said, well, I got to hurry back to the farm. I told the story to my wife. She filled out a law school app. She asked me to sign here. And I had no thought of going to law school even when I signed the app. I remember when I got accepted, I sent a check in to hold my spot, but I told my wife, you know, I'm not going to do this. I'm too good to be on the farm. So anyway, I went on the condition that I didn't give up anything else. To me, the farm was central. We were working night and day on the farm. I was coaching a junior B hockey team. I was still involved in deputy reading of the township of Maidstone. And I had 5 young kids, and you know, I really wanted them to know me. And to give you a signpost of what people like Bill go through, Bill has a young family, and Bill's on the road, and Bill's going constantly, and Bill's looking after business. Bill's drive is amazing. But there's a personal side that people have to understand. In my case, I came in from work, and it was about 2 o'clock in the morning, and I used to take a look at some of the law school books for the next day. And there was a letter on top of my pile of books. And so I opened it up. It was from my young daughter, and I still get emotional about this. And she said, I hadn't seen too much of her. And she says, Dad, I have a big surprise. I was named student of the month. I had to stand in front of the whole school. Then she said, maybe you can write me a letter back and we can be pen pals. Well, it registered with me then that there are some very important things in life, and that we need to keep those things in perspective. To switch back to another story, one of the scariest times in my life, I was holding my 18-month-old daughter. She had the flu. She wasn't feeling well, and she went into seizure. And what do I know? I'm a farm kid, right? I know cattle. I don't know how to care for kids. So it took her a while to come out of that seizure. But I tell that story because if there was something, I think the doctor prescribed phenobarb. And I remember my wife was scared. We started giving her that phenobarb, and I told her, that stuff's going to kill her. And I took the bottle and threw it as far into the field as I could. There has to be something better than this. And so I won't get into the discussion on medical marijuana and its benefits. Sam will do that. But that's where my passion for medical marijuana started. That frightening experience with my daughter. And I started to look into, there's got to be a better way to go. I'm a natural kind of guy. I really believe that nature provides On our farm, we have a cash crop side, which is corn, wheat, and beans. We have a vegetable side. Last year we grew 55 different crops, leafy greens and kale and spinach and mince and a lot of the things that aren't that common even. And it's my belief that nature has a plan for every one of us. And if you want insight into that plan, look at the season. Asparagus comes on early and then it's followed by strawberries and then raspberries and so on. And that's nature's plan to protect our health. And marijuana fits into that plan. It's one of the wonder plans. It's one of the things that nature has given us to protect our health. And all we need to do is learn how to use it properly. So, I'll just talk a little bit about human nature and set the table for Sam. You can remember, and this goes to the theme of present change. Thank God we have lots of good changes. Health Canada, new rules being among them. There was a time when we couldn't stand in a room like this without clouds of smoke. Everyone smoking tobacco. Even speakers would come out of pack of smokes, take out a cigarette, put it in their mouth, light it up, take a drag, and then resume their talk. Hello? Yeah, I'm a little bit busy. Yeah, I hope it's important. Peanut butter, I put it up on the side shelf by the jam. Okay. So what's the common thread in those two little stories? It's this. It's human nature. Human nature is what doesn't change. And in my case, and in your case, because we're all the same, if we have a loved one, my daughter as an example, or your daughter as an example, if they have a serious ailment, what do you want? A solution or the right solution? I think all of us want the right solution. And if you think about marijuana, and in order to explain marijuana a little bit and set the table for Sam, let's, instead of talking about marijuana, let's talk about dogs. We all love dogs. But what do you mean by a dog? The German Shepherd? The police dog? Or the toy dog? The puppy? What do we mean by dog? Think of marijuana that way. When your daughter or your loved one is afflicted with epileptic seizures, and the neighbor is suffering from Parkinson's, and the hand is shaking, if there's a variety that's good to treat epileptic seizures and another one to treat Parkinson's, don't you want to match the right one with the ailment? It's not just marijuana, and that's the genius of Sam, and that's one of the things that Sam will explain to you. This is such wonderful news from every perspective, from the ability to make money, from the perspective of jobs and opportunities, for the profile of our region, for the farm community. Do you have any idea how much otherwise marginal farm activity will be preserved because of this enormous success story? Medical marijuana and herbal horticultural medicine can carry agriculture on its back through the low times so that it can prosper when we need it. This is a win all the way around, and I'm greatly privileged to be a part of this team, and I really congratulate all of you for your interest in it, because our communities, our countries, and our societies need this badly. So with that, I'd like to introduce one of the most brilliant men I've ever met, Dr. Sam.
Thank you, Joe. That was amazing. presentations before. I do an incredible job. Redemption, 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 right? Second chances in life. Okay, maybe it's not that big of a deal, but I assure you there was some intellect there, but out of respect and the class that we'd like to preserve. That's as far as I'd like to go. What is this about? Really? What is this about? This genuinely is about the opportunity to be responsible. We have one chance, collectively, to educate many, many people about what we're trying to do. So what are we trying to do? Build the world's largest cannabis facility? Is that why we're here? To make noise on a stock? Which I have to tell you, I come from the private sector. Which means some of the difficulties that I'm having to understand is the responsibilities you have with the shareholder and forward-looking statements. And so, I'm currently getting coached. So give me some time. But it's about responsibility. It's about looking at something that has been around for thousands of years, something that has been utilized for thousands of years, something that has an incredible amount to offer. Medical marijuana. We're talking about medicine. We're talking about something that has been utilized for thousands of years. So where's our responsibility? Where is our responsibility? How do we take something? How do we take and combat paradigms that have been created? The noise of opportunity? You know how? Respect. We respect medicinal marijuana. We respect its capacities and its capabilities, and we have seen from a personal to R&D to prospective studies the capabilities. So what is our real responsibility? One word. Discovery. Followed by two words. Due diligence. Discovery and due diligence. And it's about building a foundation for discovery and due diligence. We can focus on, we're here because of 1.3 million pounds. We're here, and why, and how, and this and that. Is that the right question to ask? And let me remind you something. He's not responsible for approving 1.3 million pounds. And I'll leave that for you to know. He's not responsible for approving 1.3 million pounds. He is not responsible. Where we are responsible is what we are going to do from today and what we actually have in possession today. And why we're all here. So if we understand that the fundamental vision is to clearly educate and use this platform, utilize this platform, not to dump, not to make hype, not to make noise, use this platform to educate. And to bring the safekeepings of a drug, or is it? Or can we even say that? Or is it classified? There is so much confusion that we are not paying any attention to noise. What we are paying attention to is building a foundation. A foundation that has three principles. Persistence, integrity, and innovation. The persistent hours, persistent calls to Dennis. Dennis loves us right now. Dennis, what did you do today? Really? Really, guys? Dennis, what happened tonight? Dennis, can we stop in and talk to you this evening? Why? Dennis is the contractor. Amazing, amazing guy. Because he amazingly puts up with all of us. You think we are all under pressure? Stand up, Dennis. Dennis Sylvester lives, no, I'm just kidding. He currently resides. Big round of applause.
Love you, Dennis.
So, with that being said, do we try to rush and make history on history? Or can we calculate that we will be history if we don't do the proper due diligence? Are we here for the next sound? Or are we here because we're real? Newsflash, I'm real. Yep. Don't frisk each other, but we're all real. You have a pamphlet that we asked you to grab that has substance in it. Because I want you to understand that we respect the cofactors and we understand the capacities of this project. I may be a subject matter expert in one or two components, but I'm going to refute the commentary of irresponsible words like genius, because that is all perspective. And it's about discovery. So let's talk about what we're going to do. Let's focus on what we're doing right now, and not about the noise. Because I promise you, it's about building the strongest foundation. And the difficulty is, how do you bring a housekeeper to clean while you're building and constructing? What kind of questions can we properly ask ourselves today? They're going to have substance, because it's about substance. We build a vision, a foundation, on 3 principles. We bring all the subject matter experts that are required. We sit them down in the round table and we say, really? This was a little comedy for you guys, because let me tell you something. You have licensing attorneys, well, sir, your provisional patent, your patent applications. We have competitors. We have due diligence with investments right now. We have regulatory agencies cautioning us. So what can we provide you? So I said, why not do a detailing, just for a little bit of fun, of our locker room, because we're obviously allowed to show that. So what you have is an infrastructure built on principles of substance, real revenue, real people, real business models. Bring in experts from the finance world, engineers, architects, legal, security. There is not a speck of requirements or comprehension of sensitivities that we have not covered. There is not a speck. That, I will assure you, is substance. That's number 1. Number 2, you are sitting on 10.3 acres of land. And we're all focusing on one building. Going, how? How are we going to put all of this into one building? Answer? David Noble. Who wants to answer that? Who wants to answer that has substance? What we can do is utilize every ounce of this building and drive our engineers crazy. We can do that. And we can put plans together to respect the accomplishments that we And so the philosophy is, down to the 4 principles, that I will make a strong statement that we have the best team with the most comprehensive subject matter experts and a philosophy of due diligence that will hold everybody accountable. We have a lot of work. We have a lot of work to do. We have a lot of work to do. We have a lot of work to do. And we're doing every day. That's number 1. Fact 2, everybody is talking about this building and the doubts. I will tell you, as you are looking for an opportunity, we're looking for an opportunity. Do you want to know what the opportunity is? People with substance. We refuse to allow pressures that are unreasonable to hinder this project from happening. Because this project is serious. We refuse to listen to noise. And we focus on fact. So what is our approach? We've been receiving regulatory calls for the opportunity to rework our model. Bill, I'm going to give them a little Bill response. We're going to build the whole thing right now. We're going to do it all right now. Go! And everybody runs. Go, 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 go. Bill, that is it. Bill, you know this could take like 6 months for this building because X, Y, Z. And then finally, we're here and we have an approach. What is our approach? It's all about science and love and discovery. Our approach starts with one plant. If we can prove one plant, I sound one plant, one strain, one gene, one species. If we can start with one and understand its behaviors and all its necessities, and we build the environment around one, and we extrapolate it into 50, into 500, into 5,000, into Bill, 1.3 million! Yeah! Big round of applause. Because it's great! But the philosophy will not be crazy. The responses will not be crazy. The opportunity is also for us to drive the message, to acquire the right investors, the right shareholders, the person that comprehends and wants substance, not hype. The day there is hype is the day I quit. That's the truth. Because it's not about hype. It's about substance. We got together and we decided to work on a triphasic model. And look that up. It's a real word. It means 3 phases happening at the same time. Building 1, building 2, building 3. Guys, you know if a building has a high ceiling, we can have floors. I promise you. And we do have 10.3 acres of land. But do we have your confidence?
Yes.
Yes? Thank you.
And nobody's ever failed at the legal marijuana business. I told New York City that. They still can't prove it.
Amazing. Amazing people. All I can tell you is there's a packet in there about our principles of approach, the substance of what has been completed, what is in progress, and what is going to happen. And all I can tell you is we all want it built tomorrow. But there are going to be safeguards and safekeepers that are going to ignore that because we want to prove them on. And that must be understood. or a resident. You have to understand that there's already tremendous amounts of sensitivities around this project, but I will not be irresponsible. And I refuse to allow anyone to be irresponsible. And only time will tell. And there's no guarantees for anything. But I can guarantee a foundation 100%. And that is what we're doing. So with that being said, you understand the depth of what we're doing. You understand the principles of our foundation. And what you're going to understand next is the principle approach in depth by a couple of our engineers. And we will have future meetings. And we will have more substance. Because that's what it's about. I want to thank you all in this room for recognizing the relevance of being here today, regardless of coming in for whatever reason. I want you to know your decisions will never be neglected and will always be respected. You have every right to leave this room to justify that you may be incredibly happy, incredibly sad, or on the fence. But you know something? This is your right. And I'm not going to let anyone take that away from you. All we can do is what we need to do right every day. And I promise you, we will continue to be responsible. There's a few questions cards, comments cards. We're going to take dearly. We're trying to compile all of this because we want all the shareholders, everyone, from multiple entities. There's a lot of people involved right now. A lot. I don't know why you're here. You know why you're here. But I know why I'm here. I know why we are here. And I can tell you, he's here for you. And sometimes it's annoying. Because it's at 2 or 3 in the morning. And he reads something. And he gets affected by what you say. So you have a decision to make. You have a decision to make. You understand, and you're going to understand the characters and the behaviors and the relevance of our teams. And with time, you will see everything. And if you want it right now, I suggest you leave right now. Because I don't want to disappoint you. With that being said, I'd like to thank you all and welcome Melinda to the stage. Thank you.
Such big shoes to fill. My name is Melinda. This is Robert. We represent the engineering side of the solution project. And I'm going to pass the details off to Robert. I just want to say a few things.
recycling air 60 times a second in the areas of construction where we are working on providing a naturally occurring product. And so it starts with the dirty side, is a term. And dirty side means anything that has particulates or particles. So there's a component for people and there's a component for product. And so both have the opportunity to enter through their zones. We have a system that creates particle-free matter, which means I could take a piece of pliers, put it into this space, and departicleize it. And the benefit of that is if there's a foreign particle on it, the particle can be a bug, an element. This is something people are going to be utilizing, ingesting. And so what you do is you set it up to a portion where you split it into parts. There's growing on level 2 and level 3, harvesting, cultivation on level 1. There is order fulfillment, shipping and receiving, and product healing.
One second. Go ahead. Quick question. It's very important to know the distinctions. We intend to grow medical marijuana. We're not supplying the recreational market. We're supplying the medical market. People with cancer, epilepsy, children, infants, seniors. It's very important that we provide pure product on a consistent basis, free of adulterants, contaminants. Very, very important. So if people say, oh, what do they keep up with filtration? Why do you need to keep positive airflow? Well, it's a joke. Why do you need cleavers to grow marijuana? For patients. It's medical marijuana. Can't grow medical marijuana in a field.
And the other component of the product tailoring unit that we shared last night was if you have, for example, a steak at a major chain restaurant in Texas, and you go back to New York, and you go back to the same place, you're anticipating tasting the same steak because it's coming from one brand. And it goes back to the philosophy of how do we grow a product, measure, understand the specifications, and put it into substance where it could be repeated every time. How do we create an environment that is so meticulous? How do we extrapolate the product? Do we just grow a bud and toss it into a container, ship it out, and wait? Is that what we're going to do? Or are we going to comprehend and respect the fact of the matter, which is the specs of the product, and giving people the opportunity to discover what these products are doing and collecting that data and sharing it with the world for free, for the betterment of the cause.
So I'm actually going to pass the floor to Robert, who's going to go over a few of the images. As I said, we weren't able to share much with you because we're still holding it secret to perfect our system. But I promise you that this will far surpass anything you could imagine.
And I'll be taking over at this time. But sorry, guys, I'm going to have to be back here, so you can, instead of getting a cramp in your neck, go ahead and watch the screen because I'm going to go over a couple points on a few of these slides. Dr. Alloway and Melinda kind of explained we're in.
Just call me Sam.
Sorry, Sam.
Please.
Sorry.
Okay. Thank you.
One of the what we're trying to do is retrofit an existing building. This existing building has as you saw probably from outside, a large bank of solar panels on the roof, and it's taken away a little bit of our square footage on the interior first floor, which is about 500 square feet. What we're doing to this building, which wasn't designed initially to do, is add a second and third floor to it. So what we're going to have to do is modify and dig up the entire floor plan, add in brand new footers, and then add in a beautiful piece of artwork called this vault. I'm going to try to touch upon the vault as much as I can because I'm excited about this, the centerpiece of the building, which is the vault. It's workflow methods that we're incorporating through CEN's workflows. It is a piece of engineering that really hasn't been done yet. So all of our engineers that are working on this process are actually stretched across all of the United States, from California all the way to Washington, D.C. We've been collaborating since day one on this program. You know, I'm a representative of the engineers. I'm not necessarily I come from the aviation background and helicopters and stuff, so this stuff is, the ingenuity that's being applied here is very exciting, but some of our engineers worked on the Mars rover program. One of them works in a very top secret program in Washington, from the automotive industry to the electric industry, from Boeing, we've assembled the most innovative, out-of-the-box thinking minds that we could find. And every single one of them, when we said, hey, would you guys mind working on a marijuana program? We're expecting some blowback there, and they were like, oh my God, I've been dreaming about this day ever since. So we were like, all right, that's great. And we threw this one at them, and they said, just demo the building and build a new one. Unfortunately, guys, we can't do that. I need you to take this aircraft carrier and shove it in the submarine and make it work. So they've done that. At the hands of a lot of rebuttals from architects and everything else like that, and say, well, no, it should be done this way. We shouldn't waste this time. Well, we're out of time. We have to supply and take care of the medical Canadian patient as fast as possible. So we're going to go ahead and retrofit this building, and then as you guys probably saw outside, the groundwork is being laid for the second, and then soon the third. One of the other notes that we can also do, we can go up, and we can also go 60 feet down. So the options are limited for us here. 1.3 is going to be easy in my book. We're laying out the floor plan here. Just this building alone and its workflow and how efficient this is, we're going to need more. We're going to need more storage, and we're going to need more buildings. But the second floor of this particular building is all growing space. The third floor is a smaller growing space incorporated with some mechanical flooring. Right now, the front portion of this building doesn't exist yet. This is going to be the entry port for shipping and receiving. And this back section here doesn't exist yet. We're having to add in for the elevators and the chiller units, mechanical rooms, the server systems, everything. This building needs to be not only efficient, but green friendly. So we have to be able to repurpose all of our water, make as little to no impact on the local environment. So we're having to add on this back section. We got that without a couple gripes, but we were able to talk them into it. The skeleton model here, you can kind of see where let me see if I can get over to the workflow. This is the back section here, the addition that we'll be adding on. Switch over here a little bit further. I want to get to the workspace. Bear with me, guys. Now, this is, hopefully Health Canada doesn't have a problem with me telling you, this is where the vault kind of is going. And this is about as much as I can show you. I would love to show you more because it's one of the most exciting parts, I think, about the building, next to growing, obviously. But I'm an engineer now, guys. We're like the creation part of the challenges. This vault is going to be 18 inches thick. It's got to be sunk into the ground, and it's got to be functional, and it's got to be clean and contaminant-free, and only allow certain people to come in and out of it. It's our biggest challenge, and
Robert, can you hang on a second? Give everybody the opportunity to get situated.
Sure.
I know this is very important information for some people, so let's give people some time.
So the slanted roof is causing us a few challenges, but we're able to overcome them by maximizing our growing footprint and our methods of growing. We're going to fluctuate. I know that's one of the biggest questions. Well, how are we going to grow in this building? Are we using LED lights, HID lights, hydroponic, soil, everything else? Can I touch upon the method?
How many lights?
How many lights? We're going to be using the latest technology in LED lighting with a mix of HID lighting. Incorporated, can I talk about the growing method? Yeah.
What's that?
Rich says no.
No? Okay. It's the technology for the growing and the lighting is brand new. The delivery methods and efficiency here for repurposing all of our waste materials, extremely efficient. So the plumbing inside of this building is going to be a very fun endeavor for our plumber. These are some of the health and contaminant bays. These are pretty much not identical, but it's any type of clean room that you would come into to be decontaminated. Bottom line, this facility is being designed as we can manufacture any type of chemical in here. You know, the design of this building is going to be no different from any chemical warfare manufacturing facility. Obviously, that's a dangerous word. I'm sorry to say that, but the extremes of the security and the cleanliness are over the top, way beyond what probably anybody else feels that medical marijuana would need. We do not think so. Zero contaminants. We want zero crop loss, if at all possible. And that's going to be one of the major factors, for a lot of other farming and industry is crop loss. How does that impact a lot of companies when you're growing your entire crop in one room? We're dividing these rooms up into several spaces, which I'll get to you hopefully here in a second, to the third floor. These are some of the first floor walkthroughs, different departments, decontamination and security, and Sam's favorite, the locker room.
Yeah.
The
reason why it's my favorite is because we receive full clearance from every agency and party that it's okay to give detail. So I said, put as much detail in there as possible and make it reputable. We hope that some people in this room will actually utilize it and will remember this thing when they flush.
But the realistic detail is down to the very square inch, and this is exactly how they'll be laid out now. The workflows throughout the entire building are extremely calculated. Only a certain amount of employees can only have certain access. There's employees that will only see a quarter of this building, and so on and so on. They're only going to be allowed access to certain departments. This is no different than the Pentagon, if you will, or the Canadian version of the Pentagon. I'm not sure what that is. But very, very, very high security levels. Getting back to the second and third floor, they're going to be, I believe, there's 30,000 total square feet of growing space. It's going to be divided up into 15 different bays. Each bay is going to be 100% climate controls. I hate that term because it kind of just sounds like, oh, you just set the thermostat to whatever 70 degrees and it just holds there. No, that's not it. You have a living, breathing biomass inside of that room that is ever changing and ever dynamic, and it has different requirements when it is at various levels of its photosynthesis. So we have to, one, replicate its native environment to get what it initially was created to give. It's very specific THC count, very specific CBD count, and how are we going to replicate that down to the very microclimate that even surrounds the 5 square foot of that plant? our HVAC systems and our liquid cooled systems that we're putting into this facility are revolutionary. Some of the technology exists. A lot of it is software that is being created as well. The air movement inside of this building, inside of these rooms, are unlike anything that's out there. And it was a challenge for some of us engineers, and we're thinking about indoor crops. We're like, well, one matching floor plan seems to work best. Why don't we just do that? Well, what happens if we get one mold spore in there? One of the decimating factors for cannabis is a mold spore. Oh my God, the powdery mildew is, I forgot its technical term, but powdery mildew is systemic for plants. It's inside of it. And then it comes out of its leaf and spreads. Very microscopic. And it will just decimate crops. That's one of the plaguing factors with most cannabis right now. If you test that in most of these facilities that are selling cannabis, and you test their particle matter, there's a serious health risk there. Very, very serious health risk. And they're calling it medicine. That is unacceptable. And it's been unacceptable for the vision for this building and how we control those climates. So, yes, for some of the naysayers that may, well, why are you individualizing all these compartments? Well, if for whatever reason, 99.99% chance it'll never happen, but if that very microscopic percent chance that a mold spore got into that room, we don't decimate the entire building. If we decimate the entire building, we failed Health Canada. We failed the medical patient. So we have to put every single fail-safe we can into this building to never have a hiccup or a loss of medicine for our patients. So we've asked our engineers some very, very demanding questions of how to completely control that room. So there's air showers, decontamination. As we go in, there's another decontamination inside of the room. It's completely filtered. Now we can't have any odor escaping that room while maintaining a positive airflow. And then we have to filter it. And then we have to provide the perfect climate for that individual plant that its region is calling for. So not just 75 degrees, as everybody thinks for cannabis. 76.34 degrees. That's what it likes. That's what perfection is. It's the 0.000% that adds in the perfection levels, and that's what we're trying to accomplish here. Not trying, we are accomplishing here. The levels that we're putting in here, we're not taking any shortcuts. Perfection is the only way for this. So when we get into the light systems and how do we remove such large amounts of heat, we asked to add on a little bit of extra equipment off the back end to accommodate some of those loads, but very, very specialized equipment. And trying to get the ice breakers to break up the record levels of ice that's plaguing the Great Lakes right now is a little slow process, but we'll get there, and we'll get there pretty fast, here shortly. Moving forward.
I don't think there's much more we can share. Rich is getting fidgety over here.
Sorry, Rich. The second building will have us have all of the similar quality, just minus the solar panels. So that's. I guess I'll stop there, Rich. Sorry. I don't know.
Here, actually, let's close up and we can move on to.
That was my fault, because
I don't even want to go in.
we had a conversation. We had a gag order, and the deal was signed 7 a.m. And I said, Sam, you can't present anything. 5 slides. Just nothing. Don't give them anything. What do you mean?
No. That's not even how that went.
It was much worse.
I was on the stage, and there were some sensitive components that we're not going to get into, but we had some good intel about the sensitivities of what we provide decided that to act accordingly. But what was worse was I'm seeing doubles. I really was. And I get this note. The lawyer says don't say anything about any deals. What? You just smiled at me. And like, yeah, when things are great and it's an exciting announcement, everybody's on stage, right? And then everybody goes to the side. And who's left on stage? And so, I don't mind. Because it all comes down to fact. The fact of the matter is, I was not too impressed with a lot of components there. So the relativity of that fact is we had to do what we had to do. But it goes down to making healthy decisions when they're necessary. And maybe healthy decisions from a guy who's up for 38 hours straight, it's not healthy decisions. But sometimes the circumstances are exactly what they are. Circumstances. So, the fact of the matter is, it's about fact. It's about looking at fact. There are a lot of facts that need clarification, but the facts need time to have the ability to show themselves. And so time and fact are the two key elements here that are going to speak for themselves. And the biggest fundamental that we have to understand is, so we have a project, it's going triphasic. Building 2 is already started on with footings. Building 1 is in its last phases. And there's cofactors hitting it hard. But how do you get building 1 to connect to building 2? Well, the philosophy is we utilize the end of building 1 as the entrance, so that it behaves as an entrance for building 1 and building 2. And so building 1 is about extreme product tailoring to the T. Building 2 has two business models. It's a hybrid of export, which is valid with the license. So there's a business model for the export license, and there's a business model for larger scale order fulfillment. So you have two models. And so building 2 is a great study of 53,000 square feet with 3 floors. And so building 3 will be 100,000 square feet with 4 floors. 4. And the biggest component that we need to focus on today is where we're at, how we're getting it done, and how much information can we continue to provide while we focus on the project. But we also have to understand the fact of the business model. We had an interesting question yesterday that was, how do you get customers? Well, it starts with one. And that one customer, patient number 5, 4 years ago, Fellowship Ed. Patient number 4, Jeff Thomas, 4 years ago, entered our facility. And there was substance. And so here we are today. So we understand that there's a business model with an infrastructure of a call center in place, the patient advocates, software for traceability of data, and multiple reports so we can respect what we need to do for tomorrow. The biggest components we have to start respecting here is the fact that access and the difficulties of access and the politics of access are going to be going away. But in the pharmaceutical market, we still have difficulties with predictability and accountability. Sterile water was on back for 6 months. Lidocaine, one of the largest economical, fundamental structures of the world. And we don't have lidocaine. Is it because we can't afford it? Is it because we don't know how to make it? Why? What is the real question? Predictability is key. Behavior, sensitivities, educational campaigns for our clinicians, building a book of strains that create a fundamental foundation for a process of having a real business model. Because if I know that I have product A and it's costing me $1.20 per gram, product B is 30 cents per gram, product B is involved in 2 business models, export and product tailoring, and I can package them in 1 gram, 5 gram, 15 gram, 30 gram, barcoded, traceable, beautiful package. Then I have a product base. But I have the obligation to educate myself on the behavioral patterns and outcomes that come from the clinician and that come from the patient. You can get it, it's okay. Joe? We have an obligation to fact, and that is what we're bringing to the table. We are beyond the point of access. We are